Hey, what's up guys? Andy back with Level 1, and today we are reviewing the Bluesound Pulse Soundbar. It is a soundbar made by Bluesound called the Pulse Soundbar. It can be a bit confusing, Bluesound Pulse Soundbar, right? Whole thing. But this thing is pretty awesome. Alright, it's a soundbar made for hi-fi music streaming, which is something that sets it apart from every other soundbar really out there on the market. And it's definitely geared toward that high quality lossless sound. It works with Spotify, Tidal, almost every streaming service out there, and it's pretty great, pretty easy to use, easy to set up. The hi-fi streaming, it streams in almost every format of audio file you can think of. It does have home sharing. It can be a little time consuming to set up the home sharing option like with your computer, but obviously it's worth it if you want to get that streaming going and you have a lot of files on your computer. Easy to set up, easy to connect. Unfortunately, there's no HDMI connection, which is something I noticed immediately taking out of the box. On their website it says they just wanted to keep things a little simpler. I don't know, HDMI simple. So like I said, no HDMI, you only have optical, RCA, and USB. This thing has 620 watt speakers inside of it, so you don't really need the sub, even though you have an option to add a subwoofer to it. It packs quite a punch. I mean, I was probably most impressed with the bass that this thing had just from the soundbar alone. Like this thing really had a pretty good punch. I listened to music on it, obviously, because that's what it's geared towards, hi-fi streaming. And I watched an episode of Game of Thrones, and it sounded pretty amazing. I think that show really showed it off pretty well as well, because you know, with Game of Thrones you have those action scenes where it's loud and drums, and you have that kick, and the bass really showed through, even at really high volume. It didn't distort too much. It was like really great. And the soundbar also handled the lower sounds and the scenes where they were just talking and stuff really well. They actually even have an enhanced dialogue mode that you can turn on through the app that brings the vocals forward even more. So if that's what you want, you can set that up as well. I think that the presets that this soundbar had were pretty amazing. They worked pretty well. Like, they were really accurate when transitioning from music to television and whatnot. I even played video games on this, and the sound was pretty great. Like, you can hear the footsteps coming from the directions pretty well, and the sound was really amazing. I didn't have any complaints or problems with the sound. But there's no remote controller, unfortunately. You have to do everything through the app. Everything is done on their app, on their OS, and so there's no control. You have to control everything through there. It can learn your remote signal, so you don't have to open the app every time you want to change the volume. You can just keep using your regular television remote, and it learns the signal, and you can just use that to raise and lower the volume. Again, the app is extensive. Like, at first, when I first opened it, there were a lot of settings and a lot of options, and I guess it can be a little overwhelming at first, but all those options and presets and everything are there for you to mess around with so that you can get the sound that you want out of it. It has a lot of options and a lot of good things in there. Something that I thought was really great about this soundbar also was not only can you have the addition of the subwoofer, but you can add two of their Bluesound speakers in the rear and sort of make a surround sound. Also, you can connect your other Bluesound speakers all through their app, and if you're listening to music in the living room with the soundbar and you decide you want to go to your backyard or your bathroom or whatever, wherever you like to consume music, you know, no judgment, and you can just take the music with you. Like, it's all there. Like, you just switch it over, it switches over for you. Like, you walk into another room, you just switch to that room and listen to your music there. And I thought that was pretty good feature, because you can sort of create like this hub in your home where you have all these speakers connected so that you can seamlessly move throughout your house and just carry your music with you no matter where you go. I thought that was a pretty cool feature, as well as the feature to add those two rear speakers, which is not something that every soundbar has. Um, yeah, so the soundbar was retailing for $1,000, which is pretty, I'd say, competitive. It's right there in that price range of other soundbars, and a lot of other soundbars honestly are not as, versatile as this one. Like, this one has the hi-fi streaming capabilities. You can use it with your television and gaming like you can with other soundbars, and then you have all those other features like the whole connectivity with their other speakers and whatnot. I think that it's pretty great, and the fact that through their app you can use almost all streaming services that you have, I thought that was pretty awesome. And again, like, I don't think $1,000 is crazy for a soundbar. I think that's right in that range of where it should be. They did say they wanted to keep it simple, and it is simple. Just power cord, your optical to your television, but then you have to have that Ethernet cable. I guess for some people that don't have like an Ethernet cable in that room that they want to put it in, they'll have to put one there, because you want to stream this thing over Wi-Fi, because there you can connect it with Bluetooth, but obviously there is a noticeable drop in sound quality when using Bluetooth as opposed to streaming over Wi-Fi. So you definitely want to connect that Ethernet cable. We're obviously going to look at it. You're not just going to look at me sitting here. Okay, so this is what it looks like, obviously, underneath the television. And this is a 50-inch television, and you can see this thing is almost like as long as the TV. Yeah. So like I said before, this thing was definitely meant to be wall mounted, and it does come with a wall mount, so you don't have to go out and buy one. Right now I have it on the stand, and I'll show you the back where the legs are. And yeah, so right here, these are like the legs, and it comes with these little legs that you can just unplug and plug in. Pretty simple and really easy, and just stand them up. So yeah, these are the connections right here. Like I said before, you have an option for a subwoofer, the RCA, the optical cable's plugged in, there's the USB, and the power. I just disconnected the Ethernet cable, but yeah, no HDMI like I said before, and pretty simple to connect, not too many wires. And if you're connecting it on a stand like I am right now, the legs are really easy just to set up. So yeah, standing up like that, again, you see how wide it is, and the TV's set back right now on the bar, so there's no clearance issue. I can see some people that if you have your TV on the stand and not wall mounted like I do, you may have like a bit of a clearance issue. Like, you see, this is about the width of my hand almost, so some people may have a bit of a clearance issue, but it shouldn't be that big of a problem. And of course, you can just end up wall mounting it with the wall mount that comes with it. And the power cables that come with it, they both send US and a EU, so you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, pretty sturdy. Like, again, it looks pretty good, and pretty easy to set up. So that's just it. This light right here in the front is actually the indicator light. Green means it's searching for a connection, red means not connected, blue would be connected. Obviously I disconnected the Ethernet cable, so there's no connection. Green means it's searching like over Wi-Fi. I can actually hook up my phone to it just by going to the Wi-Fi settings and searching. This thing gives off its own personal hotspot, and I could connect it to my phone and just mess with it that way. So yeah, there it goes. So now it's green, it means searching. So if I connected to it just now, it would just turn blue. This is me just holding it. Like, obviously we saw it on the stand, and we saw it underneath the TV and what it looks like standing there underneath. I have my TV wall mounted, but we saw it there, and this is just me holding it right here, like, so you can get another look at like that this thing is pretty big and pretty sturdy. Like, if you hit someone over the head with this thing, they are dying. Okay, like, you just killed someone. But again, the color's great. I think the design is pretty great. I like the sleek black of how it feels. I think the trim is really nice, and how it's split in the middle for that receiver and stuff. I think that's pretty awesome. But yeah, this is it. Blue Pulse Soundbar. This thing is, look how tall this thing is. I mean, it's kind of funny, but I actually kind of like that it's big and sturdy because I don't have to be as fragile and feel like I'm going to break it by moving it over or just taking it out of the box. Like, you don't feel like you're gonna break this thing, or if you drop this thing it's gonna fall apart and you have to like get a new one or anything like that. It does feel like pretty good, and like have to be like, it feels like a piece of quality equipment, you know, like it has that feel to it. And I like that. I like the soundbar. I like the sound. I liked how it performed. I like the versatility. I thought it was a pretty great soundbar. I like the price. So yeah, Bluesound Pulse Soundbar is pretty amazing. So if you're in the market for a soundbar and you want something more versatile than a traditional soundbar, then check out the Bluesound Pulse Soundbar. It's pretty awesome. And make sure you check out our site, Level 1, and we always have cool stuff coming, more cool stuff coming in the future. This year has been pretty crazy, and we've really done a lot of stuff, and we're gonna keep pushing and keep the content coming. So thanks for checking us out, guys.